It's just... So, I kind of want to talk about YouTube today. I have been doing YouTube now for 2.5 months, something like that. I started in July. When I was in the beginning of having thoughts of maybe possibly doing YouTube, I searched for videos for people like me, people who are severely camera shy, very introverted, and I couldn't find many videos or guides that spoke to me about that side of it, because there are plenty of videos out there about the technicalities of starting a YouTube channel and the strategy behind it and all of that. But I want to talk more about the psychological aspects today, because that's what I have been struggling the most with. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm just going to sit down and trying to have like an informal chat about my YouTube experience. This is probably the last thing that I ever thought that I would do. So how did I end up here? Why do I have a YouTube channel? And what are my tips and advice for people who are maybe also thinking that I could never do YouTube. I could never start a YouTube channel. I'm way too introverted, way too shy. Let's start with a little background. I have never really liked being on camera. I have never liked having photos taken of me. I have never liked taking selfies. I never understood the whole selfie boom, you know, like Instagram selfie thing when it was big, you know, when you could go to someone's Instagram profile and just see lots of selfies, like the same kind of selfie. Those were the days. So I never went with that. I've taken very few selfies in my life because I am very self-conscious about my appearance and about how others view me, I suppose. I've been scared of being seen, and I think that's very deeply ingrained in us human beings. We are tribal creatures, we are herd animals. We are programmed to care about what other people think about us, to be really scared of being cast out of the group. And so I think that's what it kind of stems from, this, you know, all of these conditions: camera shyness, social anxiety, fear of public speaking, which is a huge one. I think I read that somewhere, that it's at least one of the biggest phobias that people have. I guess the camera shyness in particular, I think it stems from a need for control, especially video, because I can't really control the way my face looks every second, you know? At least when I take a photo, I can just take like 1 million photos and I can select the 2 or 3 that I don't think that I look hideous in. But with video, you just have to let that go. I mean, it's a process of surrender. And as a control freak, doing video has always been like the scariest thing that I can imagine. So why am I doing this? Why do I have a YouTube channel? I had kind of a personal crisis a few years ago. I've talked about this in several other videos, but I used to be a writer and a web designer and a consultant and a strategist, and I was very, you know, cerebral, very left-brained for a long time throughout my 20s. Maybe like 1 or 2 years before COVID hit, I was really unhappy in my career. I didn't really like what I was doing. I just wanted to get it over with so that I could go play video games or lie on the couch and read a book or whatever. I wasn't really taking pleasure in my work. And as a result, I didn't make a lot of money. My income just plummeted until I essentially just panicked about the whole thing, about not knowing what I should do with my life. And then we had a pandemic and I just sort of threw in the towel. I was basically just out of the game for a year, at least a year, I think it was. I did a bunch of gardening. I read lots of books. I read lots of books about other people who had been burnt out and sort of switched careers. That's what I did for a year, and then I started painting. And I talked about this in another video, which I will link below and maybe put somewhere, wherever that little link is, somewhere up here, to that video where I talk about my burnout experience and how I got into painting again and how I switched careers. And so I started painting, and I felt pretty soon that this is what I want to do. This is what I could see myself spending the rest of my life doing, because I really enjoyed the process, so much of it. Since I rediscovered art and got more and more used to the idea of myself as an artist, that also opened up a lot of other thoughts, because when you're starting to shift one part of your identity, it's kind of easier to also shift other parts as well. And so I had been off Instagram, for example. I've been off Instagram for years because I just felt totally disillusioned with it and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't know what to post. I actually deleted that profile. I didn't do any social media for years. And I was completely fine, by the way. And if you want to know more about that whole experience, just tell me about it in the comments. I did start a new Instagram because I had something that I actually wanted to share. I had art to share. And it felt a lot more relaxed and fun to me to share my art and talk about my art on Instagram than just sharing a screenshot of my screen as I was typing. Writing isn't really a visual medium. You can't really share it in that way. So that's when I started to do Instagram, and I got more and more comfortable with taking photos and maybe even showing myself in some photos, because when you're doing something that you love, and I guess this is the point that I'm trying to get to, because I finally felt that I was in a more authentic space in my life, and I felt like this is me, I can be myself fully, I felt more comfortable with actually showing up, actually showing my face to the world. And another thing that led to it was that I had been gradually switching out my blog reading for following YouTubers, especially art YouTubers and vloggers, countryside living, cottage, magical, witchery, like slow living, that kind of content. And I realized how much more I enjoyed that. Obviously, I still read books. I'm not saying that, oh, screw the written word, let's just all make videos. Definitely not. But I felt that, wow, you can really get so much closer to people with video. It felt like I knew these people. It felt like they were my friends, like they invited me into their life and into their home. And especially after COVID, and we all, were stuck in our apartments or houses and couldn't see our families. And it felt so valuable to just get a little peek inside another person's life like that. That's the real strength of YouTube for me. It's just a better way to get closer to each other. Even though I am an introvert, I do have a need for connection with other people. YouTube for me also felt like not just a way to make content, to have a creative outlet apart from my art, but also to have community, to get to know other people and to have other people get to know me. Invite more people into my life the way that other YouTubers have invited me into their lives. And I was, I've been curious about making videos for quite a while, especially the editing aspects of it, because I noticed that a lot of the YouTubers that I followed, they had very personal, creative editing styles, little ways of working their humor and their personality into their videos. I thought that really intrigued me. That felt like something that I could definitely see myself doing. So, I just decided to take the plunge, to make it an experiment, to really challenge myself. And since I was restarting my life anyway, reinventing myself. Oh, I'm such a cliche. There are so many of us out there that are severely scared of showing ourselves. We're scared of talking freely. We're keeping ourselves small. We think that we can't do a bunch of things and we're holding ourselves back and all of that. So I wanted to share my YouTube journey just to show that if I can do this, anyone else can do this. So, how did I approach this monumental task? Because it really felt monumental. It felt like so overwhelming in the beginning because I had no clue about how to do this. Really had no clue at all. How do I film myself? What do I need? Do I need microphones? Do I need DSLR cameras? Do I need lighting equipment? How do I actually do this? How do I plan a video? How do I edit videos? How are videos edited? How do you put like all the text and the graphics and the music? Where do you get music? Are you even allowed to use music in your videos? Aren't you? Movie recording has stopped because you reached your final limit of recording. That's what happened to me the other day. I was doing a painting, and when I'm doing a painting, I'm looking at the painting, I'm not looking at the camera. And then first, it just shut off right in the middle of everything because I'd reached some kind of recording limit. And so I restarted the recording, and then I resumed my painting, and then just a little while later, recording stopped because the battery was drained. So I had to switch the battery, and then I resumed my painting, and then just a few minutes later, recording stopped because the card was full, and I mean, it can be frustrating. Anyway, so yeah, I had no idea where to even start. And so my first order of business was just searching on YouTube for how to do YouTube. Very, very meta. So I basically watched every video on YouTube that I could find about how to use a camera, how to use your phone to record, how to start a YouTube channel, how to make, channel graphics, how to edit, what different kinds of editing software there was, and how to find music, how to upload to YouTube, what to do about the SEO and the keywords and the tags and the titles and the thumbnails and all of the things. I mean, there are a ton of things that goes into YouTube. And I knew that. I knew it was going to be complex. But I was also so intrigued by it and so excited about it because I kind of thrive on those types of challenges. Getting into something new, like this whole new world, a new way of expressing myself and new tools to use. I was obsessed about it. I really obsessed about it for months before I actually even started my YouTube channel, before I knew what to call my YouTube channel. And that was my first step. I just researched a lot and I had my role models. I'll put a few links in the description to the people that really helped me the most here on YouTube as inspiration, but also information, just telling me what to do. I could not have done this without them. So I'm hugely, hugely thankful to those people. And then while I was doing all this research, I worked on the more psychological parts of filming myself. I started to film these tiny little videos just by myself while I was out for a walk. Just pick up my camera and I am out in the woods. Wow, there's a robin in that tree, whatever. just nonsense, just rambling. The same way that I would, before a writing session, I would just pull up a blank document and just word vomit, just warm up, get the fingers warmed up, get my brain warmed up, and just spew out whatever was on my mind, like morning pages. If you've read the Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, it's the same concept. It's like clearing your throat before you actually start creating. So those initial little mini vlogs, they kind of felt like clearing my throat, like just getting used to having a camera in my face, getting used to actually looking into the camera and talking, because that's awkward. That's really awkward. And there's only one way you can get over that, and that is by looking into the camera and talking. That's what I would do. And then I would watch my videos and just try to get over the fact that I was on video talking and not obsessing about the way I looked and the way I sounded, because that's what you do when you're really not used to video and seeing yourself and hearing yourself. It's like exposure therapy. You just have to do it. You just have to do it a lot. You have to get over yourself. That's the simple truth. You just have to get over yourself. I even find myself more and more bored with beauty and perfection. And I feel like it's more interesting and inspiring to me to just see regular people, not trying to be perfect. All of these Netflix series with perfect supermodel looking people, I find it not as interesting. I'm tired of it. I want real people. But still, when it comes to myself, I demand perfection. I mean, how weird is that? I just had to surrender that. When you're doing something that you really deeply care about and that feels authentic to you, that feels meaningful, it's a lot easier to get over yourself, get over how you look, the way you talk, the way you present yourself. It's a lot easier to get over that because you have something more important to care about. So it's just practice. And I did that. I did that for a few times, you know. I did a few small recordings, and I just started experimenting with simple video editing, and I started really small. I figured that the first video that I would put up would not be like this, talking in front of the camera. I had recorded my art making for months, so I had lots of material of just painting processes that I could use. So I decided to start really easy, really simple. Just make a speed paint of one of my paintings. Just speed it up, do a little intro, put some music on, and just put it up as my first video. So that was like level 1. This is my game design background. I like to think in like levels and leveling up, and it sort of helps me feel motivated. So starting really easy, like on difficulty mode easy, and then working up. So that was level 1. Level 1 was just posting a really simple speed paint where I didn't have to shoot B-roll, and I didn't have to record voiceover, I didn't have to speak in front of a camera, nothing like that. And once I had that first video up, I figured, what is like the level 2? What is the next difficulty level that I could do? And that was adding text, like adding more of a narrative. So I think that was my second video where I show my progress as an artist, like the various stages of my development, and I just filmed all of my old drawings and paintings. And then I didn't record voiceover or anything, I just used text. And I really worked on like finding the pacing and what is a nice tempo for this. Is it too slow? Is it too fast? Are you losing interest? And I got lots of feedback from my family and friends. So that was level 2. And then level 3 was actually recording a voiceover, which was really difficult. And the first, I mean, if you go back through my first, I think it's my third video, it's not good. I mean, it's not good audio quality and it's pretty stiff, but it was, it's practice. As long as I keep improving with every video, I'm happy. And I can't possibly be at the same level as my role models online. I can't. So I might as well like the fact that I am a total noob on this and that I'm gonna make shitty things and just put it out there anyway, because that's the only way to learn. And it's kind of fun, It's kind of fun being a beginner. It's the same concepts that I discovered when I started painting, when I rediscovered painting, that, wow, I can really enjoy this process if I teach myself how to enjoy the fact that I suck. And I approached YouTube the same way. I like this process. I like this craft. I like getting a little bit better with every video. So that's kind of my journey so far. I still feel like such a beginner at this. There are so many things that I don't know, that I'm not doing right. But for me, the most important part of this is the psychological journey. All the practicalities of YouTube, there are so many resources online for free about that. You just have to Google it, YouTube search it, whatever, and the information is right there. That's not the actual challenge. I don't think. It wasn't for me, at least. It's the psychological part of it. It's just starting it, being fine with sucking at it, being fine with being a beginner, being fine with not really knowing what kind of videos you want to make. You really can just start right now. You really can just pick up your phone, just talk about something that inspires you, talk about something that matters to you, and put it out. It doesn't have to be this perfect packaged thing, because I think now that a lot more people are doing YouTube, the quality level has dramatically risen. You can really tell that. A lot of the really big YouTubers, they have like studio backdrops and professional lighting equipment and teleprompters, and it's just overwhelming. I appreciate the more relaxed, laid back type of content that is on YouTube, and the creators that sort of just film their life or just sit in front of a camera and just talk about something, because it feels more personal and it feels more like hanging out with them. It feels more like friendship, and I think that's what we really need right now. That's what I really need. That's what I am getting out of YouTube right now, and that's the type of content that I want to produce. So that's sort of what motivates me to get over all of these insecurities. I got over myself really fast. Just a few videos in, like 4 or 5 videos in, I was totally fine with seeing my face and hearing my voice, because when you're editing a video, you're so into that process and you're focused on the storytelling and what type of B-roll do I want here, what do I want to show on this part. There wasn't really any bandwidth for me to obsess about the way my face looked in a different angle. That just becomes unreasonable after a while. If you've seen enough videos of yourself talking and seen your face and heard your voice, it just loses its charge. It doesn't really have a charge anymore. You kind of realize that, oh, I'm just a regular person like anyone else, and that's the same way that other people are going to view me, as just a regular person with insecurities and imperfections and weird facial tics. And yeah, life is so much more fun when you get over yourself. I am 37 right now. It has taken me this many years to finally just let go of my need to control the way I look and the way I speak and the way I come off. And I highly recommend getting older. I really do. I love getting older. I love getting more comfortable with myself, not really caring as much about what people think. I mean, it's liberating. It's liberating to get over yourself. And I truly believe that anyone can do that. I truly believe so. Let's talk tips. Let's talk advice, because I know that's why you're here. I know you're not only interested in hearing my story. You want to actually get some concrete tips. This whole thing about not really being comfortable with expressing yourself live in video, they are temporary, changeable traits of you. They are beliefs that you've had about yourself for a very long time, and you've had them for so long that you think they are ingrained in your identity, and you think that you can't change them. You believe that you are programmed that way. That's what I thought. I really thought that I'm just not a talker, I'm a writer. Anything about your way of working, your mindset, you can change that. Our brains are so malleable, so flexible. That's just the way we are built as people. We can adapt, we can learn new things, we can build new neural pathways in our brains. As soon as you realize that you can question any type of belief you have about yourself, you can question it, you can challenge it, you can actually change it if you want to, if you have the motivation, then it's just a practice thing. You just need to practice. If you can hold a conversation with a friend or family member without buffering, without long awkward silences and constantly, going back and changing your sentences. If you can hold like an actual normal conversation with people close to you, then you can create videos. It's just that simple. It feels really hard at first when you're not used to it. And it also feels hard because you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You have sort of this notion that you want to express yourself the exact same way when you're talking as when you're writing. And that's just not how it's gonna work. That's not how talking works. It's another way to express yourself, and you just practice. You just practice and you get more comfortable with it. And the more comfortable and relaxed you get with talking, the better you're gonna express yourself, just naturally, without pre-planning, without thinking too much about it. And the second important point is that you are not too ugly for YouTube. You are not too old for YouTube. You are not too introverted or shy or inadequate or awkward or whatever. You are not too anything for YouTube. If you've spent a lot of time on YouTube, you will see that every possible part of humanity are represented on YouTube. That's what's so beautiful about it. Yes, there are a lot of really good-looking people on YouTube and a lot of really professional people doing really professional type of videos, but that's not all that YouTube is, and that's not the only way to succeed on YouTube, and that's not the only way to be interesting and connect with people on YouTube. And I mean, we're all gonna get criticism here. No matter what you do, people are gonna criticize you. So there's no way around that. I am gonna get plenty of shit on YouTube. As soon as more people find my channel, I'm gonna get so many comments about my appearance and my age or my nationality, whatever. No, I don't care. And you shouldn't care either. You really shouldn't. We need to snap out of this fixation with how we look. You are needed here. You are welcome here. Please show your face. I want to see your face. I want to hear your voice. Put yourself out here. You really have nothing to fear, okay? Number 3, you can always edit. I got some plans for the night and then I stop. You can always edit. That's one thing that I didn't realize before. I thought that I would have to really plan my content and make a perfect delivery. And since I felt that I wasn't capable of doing that, I couldn't do YouTube. That's not how it works. That's not how it works for anyone. We all have outtakes, bloopers. My first video, I even did like a little blooper reel for that one because I needed to make fun of myself to get over how awkward that experience was. The really good thing about it is that you can mess up as much as you want. For the longest time, I thought that since I am this control freak and since I need to really think about my every word and it has to come out perfect, I thought that writing was the only way that I could do that. But guess what? Video is no different. You can pre-plan, you can write your script word for word, and you can read that word for word. You can mess up, you can take as many takes as you want. So it's really no different, you know? If I were to show you my uncut footage, I mean, I won't because it would bore you to tears and it would be hilarious, but it would look like me just rambling on for hours with long, awkward silences and not finding the right word because I'm Swedish and I have to go look things up. But that's the beauty of it. You can always edit it out. You can always reshoot the whole thing. You can always do retakes. You can add voiceover to something and you can put it in, you know, while you're editing. You can actually utilize your awkwardness. English is my second language. And I thought that that was gonna severely debilitate me in making videos, but actually I feel like it's almost an asset because it gives me an opportunity to break the ice. While I'm editing, I can make fun of the situation. And it's the same thing if you're really awkward or if you are a slow talker or if you're a fast talker or whatever your insecurities are about the way you speak or come across. You can have fun with that. The same way that you would joke about something with your friends, you can do that in video. You can actually use that to your advantage to show your personality, and people are gonna love it. Let's wrap this up because I think I have said most of the things that I wanted to say about this. You know, if you really want me to talk more about this, if you want to know more in depth about my strategy or my process of making videos, whatever, what equipment I use, I don't know. Whatever it is you're interested in about this, if you want me to talk more about it, just write me a comment and I will absolutely make more videos about this because I think it's really fascinating and really fun. I'm not really aiming to be an authority about that. I really don't want to become a YouTuber or whatever you would call those, that niche, you know, the YouTube niche on YouTube of YouTubers talking about YouTube. I'm not trying to be one of those people, not at all, but I have this perspective of someone who has recently gone through this and I know all of the stupid questions that you have. So if you're interested, if you really want that, just type me a comment and I'll see what I can do. I'll do my best, at least. Start by just filming in secret, filming yourself, get used to having the camera in your face and talking in front of the camera. And then just make a plan, you know, make like level 1, level 2, level 3 difficulty. Like, just do it gradually. Don't try to do it all at once. Try out different types of content. Try doing some vlogging content. Try, if you're an artist, film yourself while you're painting or drawing. Just film yourself doing what it is that you like to do, you know? Or if you're really passionate about a subject, just start filming yourself as you're talking about that subject. You don't even have to tell someone that you've started a YouTube channel. You can totally do it just incognito. You can just start a channel, not tell anyone about it. Start putting up videos. Just let them be there and just experiment wildly, and you will soon find out what type of content you want to make. Don't take it so seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take YouTube too seriously in the beginning. I mean, you get sucked into that whole genre of how to do YouTube and all of these tips and tricks. This is how to grow from 0 to 1,000 subscribers and how to get monetized on YouTube. You can really just fall into that rabbit hole, and I really have. Even though that's not the main purpose why I'm here. I'm not here on YouTube to be monetized. But I still get sucked into that world because that's the type of videos that YouTube recommends to me. So all of these tips are helpful, but don't let them paralyze you in the beginning, because if you're anything like me, the most important challenge for you to overcome in the beginning is not how to search, optimize your videos. It's just how to be more comfortable in front of the camera. That's the main challenge, and that's what I think you should focus on in the beginning and not get overwhelmed by all of the tips and tricks. I think that's all I had for you today. I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope that this helped you. I hope that it made you feel less alone in being super awkward and camera shy and introverted. I hope that it gave you some inspiration and some hope if you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel. I hope you realize that it's totally possible, because if I could do it, you can do it. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I'll see you soon in the next video.